talked about mid-segments. Today we're adding the algebraic to it. Okay, so we're going to add the value of x and have equations. Now, it's going to be very similar to yesterday, but we just have to solve a little bit more than yesterday. Okay, so and let's look at this very first one. This says, okay, we have VW is the mid-segment and V is the midpoint. All right, and W is the midpoint. So that tells us since both of them are midpoints, this is a mid-segment. Now, here's the thing that we have to pay attention to. It says if the measure of angle UST equals 4x plus 26, and the measure of UVW equals 74 minus 4x, we need to find the measure of the angle. Now, we talked about angles and we talked about the mid-segment yesterday. When was it that when we were multiplying by 2 or taking like half of the value? That was for the mid-segment and the third side. What did we do for angles? Yeah, they were the corresponding. So did we have to multiply or anything? No. So if I mark these angles right here, okay, this angle is 4x plus 26, this angle, then I'm sorry, I put it in the wrong spot. It's here. And then UVW is this angle right here, so that's 74 minus 4x. Whenever we are dealing with angles, okay, all we do is just set them equal to each other. So when you do that, you just do 4x plus 26 equals 74 minus 4x. Okay? And then we just solve from there. So what do we have to do to this 4 right here to move it over? Add it. So I'm going to add this 4x over. So that gives me 8x plus 26 equals 74. Now what do I have to do? Subtract 26 on each side. What's 74 minus 26? 48. Now I do what? Divide by 8 on both sides, and x equals 6. Okay? So x equals 6. Did I solve what it asks for? No. What does it ask me to find? Yeah, I got to plug it into our measure of UVW. So 74 minus 4 times 6. Okay. So what's 4 times 6? And what's 74 minus 24? So our angle is 50 degrees. Mm-hmm. No, that's not it. How do we feel about this? Do we understand this one? No, stop asking that. Can we do like the same problem? Just let me get to do this one on your own. Well, it's 124, so it's not massive. It's not massive. Ask your partner. Do this problem. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Get your calculator out. Get one back there. On my fridge. You're just grabbing the calculator. Just bring it to your desk. Bring it to your desk. We'll go over it. So again, we're talking about angles. You can solve while I'm talking. When we are solving angles, okay? I'm going to go ahead and mark them. Now, when we're talking about angles, are we going to just, how are we going to solve these? What? Yep, all we do is put them equal to each other. You just set it up like this, and then we solve. That's okay. You'll still get the same answer. I'm going to add the 4x over first. If you didn't do that first, that's okay. What's 6x plus 4x? Plus 84. I subtract the 84. What's 124 minus 84? Divide by 10, and what do we get for x? Is that my answer? Yeah, it tells me to find the measure of angle CBA. So I got to plug into CBA. So 6 times 4 plus 84. 6 times 4 is 24. Add them together, and you should get 108. Okay? All right. Just remember, whenever you see angles, you just set them equal to each other, okay? Because on the next one, we're doing something different. No, I glared at him.
Wow. Yep.
You gotta write it when I write it.
I know it. Oh wait, this one you did. I knew.
No.
I knew it was gonna be something. All right. Well, I tried.
You did. Now, this time, we're not working with angles. Notice how it's EF and BC. We're working with our sides. So I'm going to go ahead and mark these. So looks like the middle is negative 5x plus 50. That's my mid-segment. And my third side is 9x minus 14. Now, what do we say about the mid-segment compared to the third side? It's half the value. In what way can I make it even? I need to multiply everything off in the mid-segment times 2. So the way you're going to set this up is 2 times your mid-segment equals the third side. Where did you get A? A? Yeah, there's no A. Okay, so what's 2 times negative 5x? What's 2 times 50? 100. Equals 9x minus 14, and we just solve from there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to add my 10 over, 10x over. What's 10 plus 9? And then I add my 14 over. What's 100 plus 14? Then what is 114 divided by 19? No. Thank you. Now, here's where you have to be careful. What does it tell me to find? BC. So I got to just make sure I plug it into the 9x minus 14. Now, if it said to find the midsegment, you have to make sure you plug it into the original equation. You cannot plug it into this one that we multiplied times 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because your answer will be double. You need to plug it into the original equation. But this time, we don't have to worry about it. We're finding BC. So I'm going to do 9 times what? Minus 14. What's 9 times 6? Minus 14? Just 40. It's not going to be degrees.
Just 40.
Yep.
Just 40.
Okay? Because it's the midsegment. It's half the value. So we double it to make it the same value to solve for x. That's why we multiply this times 2. The midsegment. Because it tells us that E is the midpoint of BD and F is the midpoint of CD. Okay? So I want you guys to do this next one on your own. All right, and this one's going to be just like our last one. Okay, so make sure you're looking at which one the midsegment is and which one's the third side. All right, and then you're not, it's not angles. Okay, so we have to do something different on this one. No, just know it's not angles. So it's like what we just did. Nope. But what do you have to do to one of them? Which one? No, you're right on the first one, but you gotta do everything. You can start with whatever. I like to try to get it where my x is not negative. That's what I would recommend. Hmm? Which one are you going to multiply by 2? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you will get a negative then, if it works out like that. What did you get for the whole thing? For a CD? Okay. No.
I'm stuck.
Keep going. Well, why are you doing 15 divided by 60? You're going to divide 15 on both sides. Mm-hmm. Did you get a negative? Hmm. Oh, yes, that's what you're missing.
Positive, is it still negative?
Yep, it's still negative. Yep. Yep, so keep going, Weston. All right, let's look at this one. This time, which segment is my mid segment? FG or CD? FG is my mid segment. So is that the one I multiply by 2? So 2 times 9x minus 19 equals 22 plus 3x. Okay? Now, what's 2 times 9x? 18x. I got to make sure I multiply both. So what's 2 times negative 19? Equals 22 plus 3x. All right, perfect. Now let's solve. I'm going to subtract the 3x over. What's 18 minus 3? Perfect. And then I got to add my 38 over. What's 22 plus 38? 60. Divide by 15. And what do we get for x? Now, which one does it tell me to find? It tells me to find CD. So I just got to plug it into the original equation. 22 plus 3 times what? What's 3 times 4? What's 22 plus 12? 34. There we go. Okay. The biggest thing you just have to pay attention to is when it is segments and when it is angles. Okay? Angles, do we have to multiply anything? No. But when we have the mid segment, we have to multiply, right? Okay. I keep repeating myself because everyone misses those on the quiz and test. Okay? I will give you guys the rest of class to work on homework.